What's going on, everybody? Hope you're all having a fantastic day today. Ladies and gentlemen, sadly, we have finally reached the point where we must go ahead and discuss a lot of the negatives when it comes to Xdefiant. Now, I don't want to go down in the comment section and see a bunch of people saying, "Oh, JB, all you do is switch your opinions. You never know how to, have anything consistent." I don't want to see that, man. You guys know my opinion on Xdefiant. I love the game. I'm beyond excited for it to finally launch. I've been obsessed with the closed beta, the open beta. I can't get enough of this game. You already know my opinions. But of course, on this channel, we are always open-minded and we have to cover absolutely everything. And obviously, when there's good things, there's also going to be bad things. Now, there is a list of stuff that I want to discuss that can be improved, but I'm still going over that list at this current moment. I want to make sure I get every last detail down because, of course, I think I'm still kind of in a honeymoon phase. So I'm trying to be as realistic as possible. For everybody who's tuning into my streams, I'm going to be chatting it up with you guys. I want to hear everybody's different opinions. Of course, if you have opinions about negative things in Xdefiant, then by all means, leave it down in the comment section so I can read them over as well. All different stuff. I just want to have a general idea of what the whole community thinks. But today's video, I got to be honest, I think Ubisoft might be pushing Xdefiant in a wrong way. Not when it comes to game design, not when it comes to, the franchise now or the new franchise itself, but when it just comes to how successful this game will be at launch and if it will be able to maintain that hype, let alone keep people in the game day one. But ladies and gentlemen, before we go ahead and hop into the topic of today's video, if you do enjoy what you hear today and you want to hear some more stuff about Xdefiant Call of Duty Battlefield, don't forget to go ahead and subscribe and hit that notification button. We are right around the corner to 44,000 subscribers. Yes, you heard that correctly. So every last bit of support means the world to me. And last but not least, we do not stream on Sundays, but we will be back on Monday over on Kick. So if you guys want to catch my live streams, I do them every single day besides Sundays over on Kick, starting around 12 to 12:30 p.m. Eastern Time. All right, ladies and gentlemen, now I might personally enjoy Xdefiant a ton, but that doesn't mean everybody out there is going to have as good as an experience as me. Let's be honest here. And first impressions mean a lot to people. Let's be real. A lot of games, if they do not release in at least, a semi-decent form, playable enough that you can have a decent experience, that will turn people off instantly. They won't look at it and say, "Oh, maybe a month down the road it'll be better." They won't look at it and say, "Oh, a few updates will improve this." No, the hardcore community might do that. Hardcore gamers might do that. But when it comes to the overall casual community, people typically, put out their first impressions within like the first minute or two of whatever they're playing, whatever they're doing. Probably even seconds, not even a minute, probably seconds. They have already put out their first opinion. So if the game launches in a horrible state, and that's what people are going to be playing, we're going to have a massive problem here. Now, for those who don't know, I think everybody probably already knows now, but I'm going to mention it again. Xdefiant was initially supposed to release in 2024. But recently, before the open beta launched, they rescheduled the date to summertime. Yes, you heard that correctly, this summer. Now, of course, me and a lot of other people are extraordinarily happy about this because we love Xdefiant. I don't care what state this game is in. I'm tired of COD. I need another game, and this is the game right here that I enjoy the most. Again, I don't really care if anybody hates it. I don't care what your opinion is. As long as I'm having fun, that's what matters to me, just like how you guys, as long as you guys are having fun, I don't crap on anybody who, plays a game that I don't like. At the end of the day, you're having fun with it, unless it's Call of Duty because, it's owned by Activision. Activision is pure, utter scum. But there's tons of games out there that I despise, and, everybody shares their own opinion. I'm not going to sit here and, put you up on the stage. No, enjoy the games you want to play. So a lot of us were happy to hear that, it's being pushed up a little bit. But I can't help but think that this is just a move by Ubisoft to capitalize on the decline of Call of Duty. At the end of the day, Ubisoft isn't the best. I respect them more than Activision and EA, but they're still a massive business. And let's be real, every massive business has a very schemy, scummy business mindset. They don't care about the performance of their games. They don't care about what state their games are in. They will gladly push out any project if it means that they can capitalize on as much money as possible. Now, this has nothing to do with the developers. The developers are fantastic. They're putting in tons of work. They're doing everything possibly imaginable to making sure that this game turns out to be a banger. But the release date is not in the developer's control. The game could be absolutely unfinished in the worst state possible. The developers could be begging for an extension of time, begging for this game to, have more resources, so on and so forth. And all of that could be completely ignored. Now, I'm not saying it's being ignored. I'm just saying that that's the reality that we're in right now. The publishers have control, and the developers, yeah, they have creative freedom. They can do what they want to do, but when it comes down to, the microtransactions, bundles, release dates, so on and so forth, that's up to the publisher. So if the game needs an extra year in the oven, guess what? If Ubisoft doesn't want to wait an extra year, they're not going to go ahead and do it. Now, I get it. It's very smart to go ahead and attack COD in its current state. That's one thing we're really wishing for World War III to do. For those who don't know what World War III is, that was an indie-developed game a long time ago. It's still relevant, kind of relevant, current date, but I kind of fell off of that game. I don't really care about it anymore. Like I said, not the way, but just how slowly they produce updates for that game and push stuff out, I couldn't do it anymore. I truthfully couldn't do it anymore. And that was one of the games that, it was literally Battlefield. It was pretty much Battlefield. They were coming for Battlefield's throne. But the problem was they didn't execute at the perfect time. They allowed Battlefield to get back up on their feet, rebuild their fan base, rebuild all the hype. And by the time that they actually released World War III to everybody out there, guess what? Battlefield was already dominant. They barely even got any hype off of their game anymore. Again, to the hardcore fan base of World War III, it's still playable. You can still play it. People are still there. But when it comes to overtaking, Battlefield and really taking a lot of their fan base, they failed because they didn't execute at the proper time. So I totally get why Ubisoft is probably pushing Xdefiant a little bit earlier, right? At first, it was supposed to release, like I said, in 2024, but that was before all of this drama. Now you have drama with Nick Merckx, you have drama with Tim the Tatman, you have drama with Warzone 1 being shut down, you have drama behind the scenes with tons of lawsuits with Activision. There's so many bad things that have been recently going on that the timing of them switching the release date to early summer, it's too perfectly aligned with all the drama that's going on with Activision at the moment that I can't think of any other reason for them pushing it ahead of schedule besides them just trying to take advantage of Call of Duty and its down state right now. Again, it's good, it's smart, but is it smart for us? Is it smart for the consumers? No, I always am. You guys know me if you've been following me for a while now. I always have to be as real as possible about all of these situations. I'm glad I get to play it early, and I'm glad I'll have something to play. But for the success of the title, for it to not overcome COD, but to be a very harsh, competitor in the scene, they can't mess up the first impressions. A lot of people will say, well, the open beta was already out there. People already got their first impressions. You don't understand, okay? Yeah, millions of people probably hopped on, logged in, gave it a shot. But there's millions more out there who don't even know what this game is yet, okay? The people who play the closed beta, the open beta, we are probably the smallest portion of the community. Same thing when it comes to COD, same thing when it comes to Battlefield. There is a massive casual community out there that nobody even knows about, and I'm telling the truth here. And you guys aren't it. I know we like to think of ourselves as casuals, especially, if you're working all the time, you go to class all the time and stuff like that. But if you are watching this video right now, you are not a casual because you have taken the extra step to find out more information, find out more stuff about games, and do your own research. But there's, like I said, millions of people out there who will gladly just wait for a trailer to pop up, saying, oh, look, a brand new FPS game. They'll hop on. If it's good, it's good. If it's bad, it's bad. And they'll move on with their day. It will never even faze them another day in their life. So to capture that audience, they have to nail it. The game has to be in such a good state that, people will want to come back. And they can have as much content as they want in the game, which they already do, which is fantastic. They can have no skill-based matchmaking, which they do right now. It's fantastic. They could do all of the stuff that they're doing, but if the game doesn't perform, which it's having a rough time performing, there is a lot of glitches, bugs, and problems, then people won't even bother putting up with it. The same thing happened with Battlefield 2042. I can't really say anything for that game because it didn't have any content either. It didn't really have anything really to back it up at launch. But again, the game was unplayable. People didn't even make it past the beta because they couldn't play the beta with how broken it was. And that put an instant bad taste in everyone's mouth. Now look at Battlefield 2042. It's in a good spot. They have tons of communication between the developers and the community. Yet and still, people still don't want to come back. People still don't want to try the game. And the game is so much better now. I made tons of commentaries saying how good the game is now. I've seen tons of different people completely switch up their mindsets about the game because it's actually pretty decent now. But there's still a massive chunk of people out there who had one bad taste, and they will never give Battlefield 2042 a shot ever again a day in their lives. It's true. It happens all the time. I see it all the time. I see comments all the time. That is how humans work. It's not just with games, it's everything in life. You know, if you go to a restaurant for the first time ever, if you've never been to a restaurant, right? This is the first time you ever hop into a brand new restaurant, and your first meal is absolute garbage. More than half the people, I would say even 90% of the people who go through that situation, even 95, I'll go with 95% of the people who go through that situation will not return to that restaurant ever because of their first initial impressions. That's just how the world works. That restaurant could probably have the best reputation known to mankind. Everybody loves it. But if that individual's meal is horrible right off the bat and that's the first thing they ever had, more than likely they're not going to want to try it again, and they'll just go back to what they're used to, what they enjoy, what they're already, what they already have. Same thing with gaming, right? If they're coming into a new franchise and it's horrible, they're not going to want to stick around and see what's coming next. Even if the franchise is good, which it is, even if the gameplay is fun, which it is, no skill-based matchmaking, tons of content, great communication between the developers and the community since day one, even before the launch, all of the stars can align here, ladies and gentlemen. All of them can align. But if their first impressions are bad, all of that stuff becomes irrelevant and they'll leave the game. I might be thinking a little too hard here, ladies and gentlemen. I might be, over-exaggerating. But I truthfully think that pushing the release date up is risky. Now, I believe in the development team. I believe that they know what they're doing because compared from the closed beta to the open beta, there have been tremendous changes in a positive way compared to Call of Duty, which never has any good changes. From a beta to the launch of a Call of Duty game, nothing ever changes. It's a waste of time to even put the beta out. It's a demo. But from the beta, closed to open, they have made amazing changes. The developers have been putting in absolute work. But that still does not stop me from worrying that, Ubisoft is going to put these people through crunch time. You got to think about it. Behind the scenes, the developers initially thought the release date was in 2024. Now, out of the blue, now they have to release the game in like a month or two. Like, guys, come on. They initially had a mindset. They probably had all the stuff they were doing, all the work they had to do, all the bugs and glitches they were patching out, all, the content that they're putting together, everything that's, all the teams that are working on different sections of the game. They probably have everything timed out for a 2024 release date. And then out of the blue, now they have to crunch that down to a month or two. Again, doable. I could see them totally pulling it off, but is it the most ideal situation for them? Is it something they want to do? Maybe, but I don't know. I still think it's a very stressful spot to be in. I just hope that this game can launch in a great state. I hope that it could give everybody a great first impressions, and I hope we can push past this because, again, right now, people are looking at the open beta and the closed beta as a beta because it is a real beta. It's not a glorified demo like Call of Duty always releases. No, this is a real deal beta where we're just hopping in. It's supposed to be busted. It's supposed to be broken, and we're here to give feedback. That's all this was for, right? So we have that mindset right now that it's a beta, and we're giving them a little slack. But when it's in its official release, people are going to have a different mindset when they play the game. And it's going to definitely be drastically different if the game turns out to be not completely polished off. But ladies and gentlemen, do me a massive favor. Make sure you go down in the comment section and leave your opinions down below. Do you guys think that Ubisoft is doing this intentionally to get at Call of Duty's neck? Or do you think that they're just going ahead and pushing up the date because they're confident with the game? I mean, realistically, the game does play pretty good. I could totally see a month or two down the road, if they put in a lot of work and effort, it could be extremely polished off and it might release in a perfect state. But they're really banking in on the fact that this game is going to be perfect after a couple of months, They're not going to have another beta. They're not going to test it a little bit more. They're not going to see how things are going. They're just, like I said, they're banking in on the fact that things will be polished off by the time it can release this summer. But ladies and gentlemen, thanks so much for checking out this video. If you enjoyed it, make sure to leave a like button if you hated it, leave a dislike. Also, if you're brand new to the content, subscribe and double notification button. Also, want to chat with this story, do so over Twitter and Discord, put the link down in the description. And also, want to catch me live streams of video games over on Twitch. Link is in the description as well. But guys, thanks so much for tuning in. See you on the next one. Peace out.